Hey everyone, and welcome. Let's talk about something. Have you ever noticed how the things we chase, the things we're sure will make us happy forever, well, they just don't? Today, we are going to unpack the powerful psychological reason why that lasting happiness always seems to be just around the corner. Okay, let's dive right in with a question I bet you've felt before. Think back to the last time you got something you really, really wanted. Maybe it was a new phone, a promotion at work, or even a new relationship. Remember that initial rush of excitement, that high? But then, what happens a few weeks or maybe a few months down the line? Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The new car smell disappears, that bigger paycheck just becomes your new normal, and that dream house, well, it's just the house. And look, if this sounds familiar, it's not just you. This isn't some kind of personal failing. It is a universal human experience, and it actually has a name. This whole cycle is called the happiness treadmill. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the hedonic treadmill. And just understanding what it is and why our brains do this is seriously the most crucial first step to changing your entire relationship with happiness. So what's the engine driving this treadmill? It's a process called hedonic adaptation. And really, that's just a fancy way of saying our brains are incredibly good at getting used to stuff. After any major life event, whether it's a huge win or a devastating loss, we have this natural tendency to just drift back to our original baseline level of happiness, our normal. This quote from Ian McEwan just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We are masters of adaptation. Our minds have this incredible ability to take the most exciting, the most extraordinary events, and over time, just file them away as part of the normal background of our lives. And that is why treadmill is the perfect word for it. You keep running, right? You put in all this effort chasing the next thing, a better job, a bigger house, a new experience, thinking this will be the one that finally makes you permanently happier. But because of adaptation, you just keep running in pretty much the same emotional spot. And look, these aren't just stories. The science backs this up in a big way. There are famous studies on lottery winners, and it's wild. A year after winning millions, their happiness levels are often right back where they started. The same pattern holds true for the honeymoon period in a marriage, which tends to reset after about 2 years. It's a powerful, predictable cycle. So this all begs a really important question, doesn't it? If we all keep returning to this personal baseline, what actually determines where that baseline is for each of us? Well, this is where we get into the idea of your happiness set point. So, according to some groundbreaking research in positive psychology, our happiness can be broken down into what you might call a happiness pie. And the numbers are kind of shocking. About half of your happiness level, a full 50%, is just genetic. It's your built-in set point. And get this, only about 10% is tied to your life's circumstances, your income, your health, your job. Just 10%. But this is the number that changes everything, 40%. A massive 40% of our happiness isn't locked in by our genes or dictated by our situation. It all comes down to our intentional activities, the thoughts we choose to have and the actions we choose to take, day in and day out. That right there is where our real power lies. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This whole adaptation mechanism sounds like a bit of a bummer, right? Like our brains are just rigged against long-term joy. But it's not that simple. It's actually a crucial survival tool. It really is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, this adaptation is our psychological immune system. It's what allows us to recover from terrible events, the loss of a job, a serious accident. It helps us find our footing and get back to our baseline. But on the other hand, that exact same mechanism is what puts a damper on the joy we get from our biggest accomplishments. So, let's get back to that 40%, the part that's actually in our control. The big question is, what can we actually do about it? How do we work with our brain's wiring to build lasting well-being instead of just running forever on this treadmill? Well, the research points to several really powerful strategies. First up, practicing gratitude. It's about consciously shifting your focus from what you want to what you have. Second, pursuing intrinsic goals. Things like personal growth or community, not just money and status. Third, and this is a big one, savoring positive experiences. Using mindfulness to really soak in the good moments. Fourth, nurture your relationships. I'm talking about investing real time and energy into deep connections. And finally, seek out variety and novelty to keep routine from making things feel dull. Each one of these is a way to actively engage that 40%. Here's another key mindset shift.
focusing on gratifications over simple pleasures. A pleasure is great, but it's fleeting, like eating a delicious dessert. A gratification, on the other hand, is an activity that challenges us and uses our skills. It gets us into that state of flow. Think about learning an instrument, getting lost in a creative project, or having a deep conversation. Those are the things that build lasting satisfaction.
When you put all this together, it leads to a fundamental shift in how we think about happiness. It's not some destination we finally arrive at once we get the next big thing.
You see, true sustainable well-being isn't found by learning to run faster on the treadmill. It's found by stepping off it, by building these intentional practices of gratitude, connection, and meaningful engagement right into the fabric of our daily lives.
And so that leaves us with one final question to think about. Are you spending your life as a human being, present and truly engaged in your life? Or are you a human doing, constantly chasing the next thing on the list, always running, but never quite arriving? The choice, and that powerful 40%, is yours.